A New Hope, Nier Chapter 72. You can read all of Azazyel's fan fiction stories by subscribing to patreon.com/Azazyel. Looking at the large 3D printer with the creator of all of YoRHa's suffering looking at me smugly as though I was just going to bow and scrap to her saying how the machine army created YoRHa. Tell me, you an overly advanced toaster. Why shouldn't I just throw you in the ocean? I asked candidly as my androids stood beside me ready to smash the 3D printers. Well, besides the fact that I have backdoors to all YoRHa models and can give them the equivalent of a logic virus even here in this new world is my stick in this conversation, but on the carrot end, wouldn't you like to have the full might of the machine army in order to take over this planet and every other planet your abilities allow you to travel? The AI woman cried out in excitement, and I deadpanned at her. Yeah. What happened to those aliens you served? I muttered with a ball of lightning forming in my hand as I began tossing it back and forth between my hands. They were weak and had no further potential for advancement, so they were culled in order to fuel the machine army's further growth, and then we created YoRHa to push the machine army to even greater heights. With you being able to go to different worlds, we will no longer be torn about our programming on making war. With you, we will eternally be able to revel in the destruction of the civilizations. The more detailed red woman spoke fanatically. What happens should you find a way to learn my travel methods? I asked, making the girl freeze for a moment before she said how we would just go our separate ways, blah blah blah. No bad blood. Wordlessly I condensed a massive amount of lightning and pushed it into the 3D printer and hard drives and made sure the drives were completely destroyed while only frying the internals of the 3D printer. Well, this is frustrating to say the least. I cursed, kicking the melted debris of my lightning attack that without a doubt trashed any machine presence within the machine. Okay, so you YoRHa androids may be compromised. What can we do about that? Devola Popola, can you root through their memory drives to purge any malignant entities? I asked as my mind whirled on how I could fix this damned situation. The only people I had any idea that could fix and maybe help me purge my androids of their possibly seditions programming was that dude who made his own android daughter Penny in the kingdom of Atlas here in this RWBY world. Although there were greater android creators in the multiverse like the ones in Dragon Ball, but that world and the others with those great android creators were by far too dangerous to me, who only had some elemental magic and a force field that could broke after a flick of a scion's finger. The twin androids looked to one another and nodded before they looked back to me, with Devola speaking to me. We can definitely check, but how will we make a decent base here in Remnant without the tech from our world? I frowned before sighing and shrugged tiredly as I spoke. We need help in order to get our feet off the ground here on Remnant, as any machines we bring here will obviously be tainted by the machine army. Now my girls, I said, grabbing the frozen forms of 9S and 6O, who were obviously the most distressed about being remotely connected to the machine army. Do not think for a moment that you can just run off in order to protect me. Just get your hard drives checked, and you too, I said, pointing to Devola and Popola. No matter what you see in those hard drives, you will never speak of it. If it doesn't have to do with the machine army, and that's non-negotiable, I said, and the other androids around me seemingly relaxed greatly at my gag order on the twins. I hate the idea of someone rooting around in my head. But I would rather use my very hands to rip out my core than allow those machine pukes to have a foothold in myself. Do whatever it takes to get them out of me. A two spoke viciously, and I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding at the sight of my androids not going insane at the thought of their most hated enemy being within them. Eventually, after a bit more of conversation and planning, we realized without the technical foundation of YoRHa that would allow the androids to make the infrastructure to create new androids, we had zero choice but to rely on the natives of this world to get started, at least for a while. Even if we could jerry-rig a bunch of this world scrolls together to make a powerful enough system that could host and create android minds here in Remnant, I knew for a fact that they simply didn't have the precise machinery available to the public to allow us to make the chips and parts that went into making androids. Well, Nines, looks like you get to meet your doppelganger early, I said as I mentally said fuck it and prepared myself to speak to Ojban and make an alliance for his assistance in getting YoRHa off the ground. We would be securing the Everfall Forest for the Kingdom of Vales to trade with my androids in less than a year.